so I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me. And I can't hold it much longer. Gonna let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love that. Is that the first time?
I haven't seen it. You've been gone for so
that
long.
open?
You're on AJ's schedule.
And I'm on zero sleep, so I don't even know what's
Wait, what was
happening
different?
right now.
What was different?
What was different?
You weren't even paying attention.
I know. That's why I asked what was different.
Okay,
What?
so
No, don't tell him. Don't tell him.
what?
Got to see it tomorrow.
Hello, everyone. FC Live.
Subscribe.
Braun, Kratz, Pierzynski, and if you're listening, you can watch us on Stadium, hour number 1, on their YouTube, of course, on Stadium's app or watchstadium.com. But if you want to see our open animation cool thing that we do, Ken Rosenthal's on there, moving, and it's not just pictures of Brockstar and Holt and Kane anymore. They're actively engaged within the open animation. Did I give it away?
You got to check it out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or download it.
I won't be paying attention tomorrow either.
Why?
Come on, AJ.
Why would I watch the Open? I see it 4 times a week. I don't need to see it again.
How about welcome back? I missed you. Man.
Well, that would be lying. I don't want to be a liar.
Why?
I don't want to be a Scott Braun.
Fine. Trisha Whitaker on line 1. Bring her back. Trisha, you were awesome. Layla, you were awesome. Thanks for filling in for me. I haven't had time. I literally drove overnight 'cause flight got canceled coming back from Michigan. So I don't have pictures or videos to even go through yet, but I will find them and we'll maybe put something.
His pictures are printing
there
right now at CVS. He's getting the pictures printed from his.
There they are.
Electric Forest.
Kratz.
It was fantastic. Anyway, if you like really soft shirts, foulterritoryshop.com, or if you just want to be like Paul Sewald. And then our guests coming up over the next couple hours, I'm going to go backwards to forwards. Player-wise, in an hour and a half, Jonathan India, Captain America, has to be announced first. Andres Jimenez, one of our regulars on FT Live, will go in about an hour from now. And we are 15 minutes away from being joined by Hannah Kaiser, who does a great job writing for Yahoo Sports. She has a pod too. We'll get into all of that. I've worked with Hannah. She's fantastic. She is super real. We're all about that here. And lastly, before we charge the mound, Austin Hayes, not 1, not 2. Yep, that's it. 3 RBIs last night. What's the theme?
Hitting advice from AJ.
This is not a trick question.
He was on FT Live yesterday without Scott Braun.
Exactly.
The power's not going out yet.
Yeah.
Maybe with some storms coming through. After the show, you might not be able to get a hold of us. Scott's going to be taking a nap. It'll be nice.
Jonathan India is going to have a week, just saying.
He can't even handle
joining
it.
the show. Dude's gonna hit dingers all week. All right, let's charge the damn mound and begin with the White Sox and the Angels.
Why?
Why not?
Because you know the White Sox so well, AJ.
You saw I was just drinking coffee because I stayed up and watched that abomination
Yes, you
of
did.
the ninth inning last night.
Yes,
That's why.
you did. I'm glad you stayed up for the whole thing because you needed a 9-inning game.
And
They were in it.
they made Reed Detmers look like Spencer Strider.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Reed.
Mm-hmm. And Dylan Cease dealt, and guess what he got? A no decision. He hasn't won a game in over a month, that guy. He's one of the best pitchers in the league. He can't get a win because they can't score. They got one guy that can hit right now. His name's Lou Bob.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the Angels. I know they had their big Saturday, but the Angels' offense wasn't blowing anyone away either. Of course, the Ohtani show continued. 446 feet
Oh my God.
on that smash. League leading 26 home runs. Olsen's made a charge since coming on foul territory. He's at 25. Alonso 24. Lou Bob's at 22.
Yeah,
You almost picked Lou Bob last night.
I know.
You
You
brought
guys
his
talked me
name
out of
up.
You guys talked me out of it too. Dang it.
No, we didn't talk you out of it. You talked yourself out of it.
That's true.
But I liked your burger pick. I mean, anytime you can pick an hamburguesa, like I'm on it. But he hits ninth.
But yeah, and he's got 17 homers, I think.
Yeah.
And it was a lefty, so I was thinking, Burger Bomb in Anaheim, In-N-Out Burger. There's a whole lot of things that could have gone right there. But I'm done. That's it. I'm done. done picking the White Sox. I'm freaking done betting on the White Sox. That's it. I'm out. You lost me.
The White Sox are about to get hot. They're
Yeah,
about to
true.
get
Yeah, I
hot.
learned from yesterday.
You did.
Remember who I picked in the College World Series?
Yesterday, he picked in the College World Series, and we'll get to that in the College World Series part, but AJ made a pick. So, yeah. Anyway, AJ's
Thanks
smart.
for listening,
super
Scott,
smart.
while you're driving.
I listened to about half the show. I'll listen to the other half later. I'm not going to miss a second. But yes, I drove for 12 hours. I did listen to Fair Territory. It was fantastic. I love when Ken's on without AJ. Can we show the walk-off pick?
Trisha, are you there?
I'm down. Trisha was fantastic. Trisha, I might be out sick every other day. Take over. She has too many jobs, though. We have the walk-off pick, right? There it is. Of the Angels' shenanigans in the ninth inning. Trout 0 for 3 Ks, but scores the game-winning run on the wild pitch in the bottom of the ninth inning. And the Angels and Houston are tied in the win percentage category, both 5 games back of the Rangers in the American League West right now. So,
you know what reputation does for you? If you guys, you didn't see the ninth inning.
I don't have one, so no, I don't know.
Mike Trout was facing Ronaldo Lopez, who in the 8th inning had 8 pitches and mowed through him. Mike Trout leading off. Ronaldo Lopez knows the history between those two, and Mike Trout has some ownage on Ronaldo Lopez. He walked him. I mean, it was 3-2 changeup. He was throwing heaters by him that Trout was just kind of barely getting a piece of, and he's like, "Oh, he has Monty Grandal." And I'm like, let's try and trick fuck Mike Trout. We'll throw a ball. He might swing at it that bounces. So he throws a changeup half-ass, bounces. Trout walks, and then guess what? They bring in Bummer, wild pitch. Grandal, who's kind of banged up, and they didn't want to catch him. They have to bring him into the game in the 9th inning. It's like, come on, guys. What are we like? Come on. If you're and Bummer, the thing is, you're gonna bring Bummer in to face Ohtani after Trout. Why not just have Bummer pitch to Trout? Because Bummer is better usually against righties anyways.
Yep.
He goes against stinker baller.
Yep. And he can get it into Trout's no-go zones. Like, I didn't agree with that. I understand it was like the safe pick. It wasn't, to me, it wasn't the extra little level of going to see what that matchup really has and like what's going on that day. He had 3 punch outs. He wasn't catching up to the fastball. Like, it's okay. Foul balls are okay when they're late. Read it. If he throws that changeup for a strike, it might have been walk-off right there. Like, exactly. I thought it was an awful like body of decisions.
And with all that being said, the White Sox are 12 games under 500, and they're only 6 back in the division. They're 1 10-game win streak. Hey, like Eloy Jimenez told us about a week ago. He's like, yeah, we had a what was it, 10? The L? Was it an L10?
Yeah, I think
the losing streak. It got to double digits, right? So he's like, 10. Yeah, we had a 10-game losing skid, and aside from that, we're basically 500, which in the AL Central means you'd be in first place.
But those count. Those 10 losses
those do count.
They do count.
Those count.
Just like the Rays 13 to start the year counted too.
Just like the AL Central, nobody
wants it, but somebody's gonna get it. Okay, and in the AL East, everyone's great, especially the Baltimore Orioles, still sticking with the Tampa Bay Rays in the standings. They beat up the Reds, and it's a 10-3 final. Jordan Westberg makes his debut. Crowd was feeling it, which is great because they're not jaded in Baltimore. They went through terrible tanking, and now for doing that for 6 years, you get an awesome prospect like once a month to debut on your ball club. So here's the latest, and it's one of the better memes I've seen to describe Jordan Westberg's debut, battling back from 0-2 in the count to work a walk. Eventually had his first hit, knocked in a run, but we do have, reporting live from the scene, Jordan Westberg weathering through his first AB in the big leagues. Show it. Now coming to the plate, making his major league debut, Jordan Westberg. And if you are just listening to the pod later on here, there's a dude battling through, what is that, a sandstorm?
That's
What'd you
called
call
a
that?
No,
hurricane.
it's a hurricane.
That's called a hurricane, Scott.
oh.
You'll learn about those soon enough.
That's AJ and you in August through October. So enjoy that.
Oh, you want some power outages?
yeah. Talk about. You better get that generator going, AJ.
Get
for
ready,
sure.
stadium. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like
nope.
holding up an antenna on AJ's roof, blowing away like that with Westberg. But anyway, Westberg was felt like something out of a movie or something that you dream. Honestly, what movie? Twister.
Yeah. Hopefully, I don't know how you were, AJ, but trying to hit in rain and just trash weather, I never could figure it out. And I was feeling for that kid. I wanted him to get some total bases because I had a little Ellie and him prop to get total bases. But I love seeing debuts, and the dude's coming up going like this on his brim of his hat.
Oh yeah.
I sucked in those moments. And I don't know if I hit well ever in those moments. I very rarely hit well anyway. But I remember in my head thinking, minor leagues, big leagues, when it was raining, it took so much for me to be like, I'm locking in. I had no problem staying locked in when there was a rain delay or something. I could never check out because I couldn't check back in. So I just stayed locked in. But coming up to the plate when it's raining like that, and this dude has to do this for his big league debut with his boys in the background, a couple $10 Baltimore Oriole beers deep. The boys were juiced, and he's up there in his first big league at bat, and he walks. That was show for him. That was big league.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Orioles,
I didn't have those problems. I just
walking?
Weather. Yeah, well, I had walking problems because I didn't walk.
Weather? You had no problem with weather?
No, it's big leagues, dude. You take a little towel, if you're really nice, you could get the bad boy to come out for you.
I always when I started to get better at it, I would put rosin on my helmet, and so the rain wouldn't drip while I think it's ADD. I would see the water dripping, and I'd be like, oh, wow. Oh, what? And then the next one, I'm just swinging. I just couldn't concentrate. It was there's a lot of faults in my game, but that was one of my faults. And I was feeling for that dude.
Listen, he had a great night. I mean, he had a cool video of him walking into Camden Yards. His boys were there. He got his first hit. He did a lot of things. I mean, he got a walk out of the way, blooped a single in. I mean, it counts as a blooper, but drove in a run. And Austin Hayes drove in 3. So it was a great night for FT and for the Orioles.
You know what sucks about his first big league hit?
Nothing?
Absolutely nothing. That is.
I was like, there's nothing that sucks about your first hit.
Nothing. Jam job or a 440-foot dinger. Nothing.
Hey, it left the infield.
It's a knock. I don't care if it didn't leave the infield.
No, I know.
Kratzy, the guy next to you, ask him how many knocks he's got in the big leagues. I'm just wondering. Asking for Westberg. Just wondering.
So now we're on to the next topic in our rundown. I'm not doing that to him. My guy got an hour of sleep. An hour of sleep. He was in
such a warrior.
He hasn't blinked. He hasn't blinked since 9 o'clock when he got
He's
here.
hopped up on Molly from the rave in his glasses. He's good.
He's blinked less than Fairbanks blinked yesterday when we had him on. Just always never blinking. Yeah.
I'm here. I'm just not going to remember this show, but that's why you're able to watch it back, which is great. But yeah, props to Westberg. He's 24 too. It's time, baby. Yep. One of the top prospects in the sport. Orioles are only 4 games back, trying to keep pace there with the Rays. 48-29 on the season. All right, let's hit the first poll. Then we'll have Hannah Kaiser joining us on all things Real Talk Baseball. So scan the QR code on the screen, please, or go to watchstadium.com/foul territory to get involved. Favorite special event series: Japan series, London series, Field of Dreams series, Mexico City. I don't remember who it was. One of the guest hosts let one of you pick just as a teaser. One of you decide.
AJ, to go.
Oh, London series for sure.
I'll pick after the break.
Okay, I've got Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams was sick. At least year 1 of it. So let us know, and then we'll talk to Hannah Kaiser about everything right and wrong about baseball.
Today is June 27th, and here are some memorable events that have happened on this date in baseball history. Back in 1973, And 18-year-old David Clyde, fresh from Houston's Westchester High School, stepped onto the field for his eagerly anticipated debut with the Texas Rangers. Despite walking the first two Minnesota Twins batters he faced, Clyde rebounded impressively. Striking out 8 and surrendering just a single hit over 5 innings, he helped the Rangers to a 4-3 win. 4 years later, on this day in 1977, Giants powerhouse Willie McCovey delivered a performance for the ages. McCovey crushed 2 home runs in a single inning against the Cincinnati Reds, marking the second time he'd accomplished this extraordinary feat. This helped solidify his status as the all-time National League leader with 17 career Grand Slams. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1986. The year 1980 brought us another June 27th highlight when Jerry Roos of the Los Angeles Dodgers pitched a no-hitter against the San Francisco Giants. Striking out only 2 and allowing no walks, Roos dominated the game. A single defensive error prevented him from achieving a perfect game, but his no-hit performance at Candlestick Park remained a significant achievement. And on this day in 1986, San Francisco Giants second baseman Robbie Thompson was caught stealing 4 times in a single game against the Reds, setting a new major league record. Despite his struggles on the bases, the Giants still managed to pick up a 12th inning win. And now, back to foul territory.
Back on FT Live, Braun, Kratz, Pierzynski, and our first guest of the day. Excited to be joined by Hannah Kaiser, who writes for Yahoo Sports, covers the game nationally. You can follow her at Hannah R. Kaiser and also check out her podcast, Time to Hop on the Bandwagon. There you go. Oh, wow.
We were just recording it. We finished recording at 1:10, so I just left the whole setup the way we had it.
No, we're loving it. And while we jump in here, so tell me what you just recorded. So what's coming up next on the latest episode?
Okay, so we actually talked about something that I'm gonna double dip and talk about with you guys, which is the broader question of team construction and whether or not we prefer, as fans, as media, as baseball consumers, for teams to sort of try consistently and be disappointed sometimes, or to embrace this kind of boom and bust tank and rebuild model where you sort of push all your chips in when you think it is your quote unquote window.
Okay, so let me actually follow up on that. It's one of our favorite topics. I'm always, Hannah, fascinated by the personalities and decisions by ownership to balance profit versus winning and how they intertwine. Some seem to really get it. You have all kinds of philosophies, and it's interesting to me. So do you still think that tanking is healthy and useful? Or, I mean, we know for the sport it's terrible, right?
Yes.
It is awful. You lose a generation of fans. Guaranteed. You're not interested in the Orioles for 6 years in Baltimore. You wiped out a certain fan base that from 8 to 14 doesn't give a shit about the Orioles, and they'll never have that same kind of love. So is it worth it?
So I think there's a really interesting thing that happened, which is there was the high profile example of the Cubs and the Astros, and it seemed to pay off in this totally predictable way. And it begat a little bit of a mini generation of teams trying that. But it simply can't work for all of them. It's a zero-sum game. It's a closed system. Some teams are going to target a certain year in the future that they just aren't going to win because some other team targeted that year as well. And I think there's this been a little bit of a counter movement to it. The Rays model in a way, and the Dodgers model when you have money, to give your team as many chances at the postseason as possible. But what's interesting to me is the way that people have reacted to the Mets and Padres, most of all, this idea of well, don't you want them to try even if it doesn't work? That is the opposite of the tank and rebuild, is the try every year, but still only 12 teams or however many teams they expand the postseason to, are going to make the postseason. So somebody's going to end up disappointed. I think disappointment among fan bases is the sign of a healthy sports league. Like, you should have as many teams disappointed, or as many fan bases disappointed on the first day of the postseason as possible, because that means all those teams gave their fans hope at the outset and hope for as long as possible. But what's interesting is that's kind of what we have now that we have the expanded postseason, and it feeling like, oh, now it's like killed the trade deadline. All these teams think they're in it, but they're actually just mediocre. So I don't really know. What do you guys think? What would you prefer as a fan base? This kind of like, sometimes you think they're going to contend and they don't, or you know exactly when they're going to contend, but there are these like long fallow periods of, if not tanking, then certainly pulling back, not trying as hard.
I want teams that try. I don't want teams that are, because it doesn't work for every team. And every team says, oh, we're going to do this because of what the Cubs did first and then the Astros did after. And I think that's the problem, is it worked for two teams.
Yes.
And the Cubs won, and now they've kind of gone back, and then they're trying to do it again, right? So they went back down to horrible, and now they're trying to work their way back up. Whereas the Astros have been better about kind of maintaining where they're at, which I like better. As a fan, I don't want my team to go into the season and say, oh, we're going to lose on purpose. Yeah. Why? Because 7 years from now, we're going to have a chance at it. Screw that, because why am I wasting my money? And you're not going to, so you're telling me you're not trying, you're not spending the money I'm giving you. So why would I want to give you money? And that's kind of what the Astros went through before they won. The Cubs are the Cubs, and they'll always draw. But you look at, again, we keep going back to this. Look at the White Sox. They tanked. Mm-hmm. And they're supposed to be in their window. Well, their window is 12 games under 500, and the fans are pissed. They're like, we haven't fired the GM, we haven't fired the president, we've tried managers, the same players, and we still suck. So it doesn't work. So I'd rather have a team. Heck, I give the Rays all the credit in the world. They don't have the big money, but they do try every year. Right. They try to push it in, and other teams have done this. In Oakland for years, they didn't have the payroll. They pushed and said, hey, we're going to figure this out and figure out how to get in the postseason. Maybe we'll get lucky, but at least they're trying. And I hate the teams that don't try.
This, in some ways, this came out of, I mean, this is something I've been sort of like thinking about for a really long time, but this came out of, I had a conversation with somebody at the commissioner's office recently, and we were just kind of shooting the shit. And I made the point that I bet that every president of baseball operations or GM or whomever at the top of the executive chart of that team, everyone thinks they're going to win more games in 3 years than they are now. It feels like a lot of executives have kind of bought into this logical fallacy that wins in the future are in some ways more easily guaranteed than wins in the present. But you're all going to be there then. It's all just going to be baseball again. You're all going to be subject to the same whims of injuries and underperformance and that kind of thing. And every other team in the league now, it's when the Cubs did it, when the Astros did it, not everyone was planning for the future in the same way. Now, you're not the only team that thinks like, you know what we'll do? We'll take this year off and then we'll just guarantee ourselves a window of contention in the future. You can't do that. Everybody's trying to build a great farm system, have great player development, win in the future, hang on to their prospects. You can't come the future.
Yeah, and I live outside of Philadelphia, and it's the process for the Sixers has ruined basketball for my kids because I stopped watching, and so they don't follow the Sixers. They're slowly getting into it now because they're trying to win. And so in baseball, like, I don't have a baseball team because I've been to all of them, but it's like you can't, like, it's okay to say, you know what? We pushed all in. We tried to win. It didn't work. And you know what else we did? We slowly improved our farm system. Yeah. Trying to win doesn't deplete your farm system. Making dumb trades, signing dumb free agents, spending too much money where there's no value is asinine. And so it's okay to be like, hey, you know what? I gave it my best in my 4 years as a GM. It just didn't work out.
Totally. And I think the preciousness that GMs, I think, have about high-level prospects is incompatible with just the predictability of like players making that jump from AAA to the majors. Trade some of them for the now. Like, honestly, I think the Mets, they should have moved some of their prospects at the deadline last year. They won 101 games. They were in the last year of having Jacob deGrom. Max Scherzer's only getting older. Like, they were too focused in some ways, even though they are the team that spent all this money, they were in some ways too focused on, well, we got to be good in 5 years too. Why? Why not just be good now? In 5 years, you'll have a whole new set of prospects. You can trade them. There'll be new free agents. You can spend the money then.
Hannah, you know why? And Eric, too. You want to know why GMs want to tank? Because if they go to their owner and say, we're going to lose for the next 4 years, guess who they don't fire?
Them.
The GM.
Yeah.
Because they're thinking, well, man, we tried. Oh, now we're going to tank. So guess what? I get to do another rebuild, and I get to keep my multi-million-dollar job for 4 or 5 more years. So if I'm a GM and I take a run and we lose, and then I go to my owner and say, oh, we'll just start over. Give me 4 or 5 years to rebuild it.
Yeah.
Guess what? I keep my job. So
Right.
that's a great plan. If I'm a
This
GM,
is a
that's a great
7-year plan. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I got a 12-year plan. We'll see
Yeah.
you in 2020, 2200, whenever it is.
Selfish.
75 years from now, dude. I will be
Yeah.
good then. That's the
Selfish.
best plan. No, it is, but that's what GMs think. If they have the opportunity to do it. And you brought up the Mets to me, and you met up their prospects. Sorry, I'm changing the subject because we could get deep in this. But I love your tweet about the Mets. You're like, oh, they have the same records as the Pirates. Oh, yeah, by the way, they're 3 times as many games out. And, the Mets aren't going anywhere.
The Mets are I don't have a ton of sympathy for high-paid, high-level baseball executives, but you couldn't convince me to take Billy Epler's job for all of Steve Cohen's money. Like, that is, I don't know what they're going to do, because that is a position where a GM, I'm sure, presented his owner with the probabilities last season at the trade deadline, this offseason. Oh, here's how it's going to work. We're going to be good this year. We're going to be good in 10 years. I'm building you this sustainable organization. And now that they're seeing, I don't know, how unpredictable high-priced older free agents are, how the aging curve comes for all of us. I don't know how they dig themselves out of this mess. I don't know how they would get people to even take these contracts if they wanted to sell off.
Is Buck on the hot seat?
I
Because
think
I'm
he's
starting
gotta
to see, I'm starting to see on social media and online where fans are kind of saying Buck isn't making the right moves, but then there's the defending side saying, well, the front office is telling him what to do, and Buck's not running the team. The way he wants to run it. Is there a time where Buck would go and say, hey, Billy Epler, screw you. I'm managing the team the way I want to. And if you fire me, this is my last year anyways, so just fire me and we'll take a shot at it. Because if you watch Buck, he doesn't look like his normal confident self, even in his interviews and stuff.
He's looking defensive. He's looking a little thin-skinned. Here's the thing. I feel like there's this tendency to want to understand what exactly is the manager responsible for, and we'll never know exactly what happens behind the scenes. But as far as I'm concerned, with the Mets, Buck is letting me down, his team down, the fans down, because we're seeing after every loss the way that the players take responsibility, take accountability, own up to their mistakes, and we're seeing Buck be kind of evasive, deflective. If your job is to be the manager, regardless of what's going on behind the scenes, you should not be putting a negative spotlight on your players. You shouldn't be, I don't know, like he's not doing what the manager can do, which is sort of absorb some of that negativity, try to insulate his players, try to keep the mindset. I've never been a baseball player, but I've been in clubhouses, and I can tell that like it's just harder to win when there's that much negativity, and the Mets need to figure out some way to feel like winners even before they are winners. And if Buck isn't doing that, regardless of who's responsible for setting the lineup and building the bullpen, he's not doing a good job as manager.
I would have loved, and I would still take Billy Epler's job, even if I have to deal with a little bit of short-term pain because of the resources that he's given. And it even goes beyond, Hannah, the amount of money he can spend on players. Like he can spend on anything within the organization. He's not going to get a no for the most part if you convince your owner. International free agency, more on research and development and developing your prospects, even scouting, wherever you want him to go. I'm sure if you talk to that kind of owner, right, and Steve Cohen, and you convince him of that, you're on. Now, at the same time, you might not have that long of a shelf life because you're not doing the tanking deal. So for me, I'm looking more at the roster construction here, and I'm like, did they do this right? You know, even if you spent on some of the big boys, did you do this right? Because the great GMs do both, right? They spend on the big ones like Friedman bringing in Mookie Betts and signing him long term. But aside from this year, how often has the Dodgers bullpen pulled random players out of their hats from waiver claims, just like the Rays always do. I'm not seeing enough of that in my mind with the Mets. And I know it's been obviously a short run for Billy right now, but he also comes with a track record from the Angels where it was terrible then, and he left Perry Minasian with a disaster, according to most people I've spoken to within the Angels. So in my mind, if I'm Steve, I'm going front office first because I'm already looking at David Stearns and being like, let's go, baby.
And maybe David Stearns wants to bring a manager with him.
Yep,
No.
that's true.
I think so. David Roth over at Defector had a really good article. He writes great, like, pathos-riddled stuff about the Mets. But this was like a more sort of nitty-gritty take on the fact that, like, what the good teams do is optimize their players. And that sounds so buzzwordy or whatever, but put them in positions to succeed. It's not that hard to figure out what to do with Justin Verlander, but it is hard to figure out sort of what to do with, I don't know, Andrew Heaney or someone who's like having a lot of success with the Texas Rangers right now. And you're right, like that is a failure of a team construction, like a roster construction, or it's a failure of the player development, which is something that the Mets have been struggling with for dating back to the last regime, and something that maybe takes a little bit more time to turn over than 2 years. But what you need to do is put players in positions to succeed, whether that's telling your pitchers what kind of matchups would work the best for them. Like we're not across the board with the Mets. They're not optimizing the talent that they so obviously have. And they're also not like developing players who other teams didn't, like JD Davis, for example. Yes, they knew to get JD Davis and to give him a chance, but the Giants are having so much more success with him than the Mets did. And why is that? Is that a coaching problem? Is that an analytics problem? Somewhere there needs to be a diagnosis of why the players they have are not succeeding as much as they could to their talent level. But also I just think like you bought really high on Justin Verlander. Like, yeah, he won the Cy Young, but he got the whole year before that off to rest his body, which I'm sure helps when you're 40 years old. And then he pitched deep into October last year, and he was as expensive as he's ever going to be. And yeah, he's not as good as he was in his Cy Young winning season.
Darn rough trade. Go ahead. Sorry.
Exactly.
Sorry, I had a cough. It's been a long.
It was a long
night.
Yeah,
I think it was 4 prospects in that trade.
Fleeced them. Is the NL East, when the Phillies get back in the wild card lead, is the NL East been a disappointment this season?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But there could be 3 teams. There could be 3 teams that make the playoffs from the NL East when the Marlins continue to do what they're doing and the Phillies overtake the Giants when they fall back down to earth.
It could absolutely change, but the NL East has been a disappointment, if only because 1, the Mets are bad, and 2, I thought Trey Turner was the greatest signing of the offseason, and I am sure that over the course of his tenure with the Phillies, that will prove to have been a great addition. But it's disappointing just because I thought the Phillies were going to be more fun. I thought they were going to be more exciting. I thought they were going to ride this high from the World Series appearance, and it's felt like a lot of stop and start for the Phillies. It's felt like a lot of stop for the Mets, and the Braves are getting really hot, but I don't want it to be a cruise to another division. Like the Braves winning, great. They're a phenomenal team, but that is the least exciting outcome for the NL East. So in that way, it's been a disappointment.
You talk about the bandwagon. Could it be because the Phillies posters over your shoulder that you're rooting so hard, like Erik Kratz for the Phillies?
There's a lot of Philly stuff if you look around. I'm from there.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Hannah loves Scrapple, so
Yeah.
I do. I really
Pennsylvania
do.
pride.
Like,
Yeah.
do you eat ketchup or apple butter on your Scrapple? And do you fry
Maple
it?
syrup.
Syrup.
Maple
Maple
syrup.
syrup.
There's 2 ways to eat Scrapple. 1, just with syrup, like you would like a breakfast sausage, or 2, on an egg sandwich, fried egg, cheese, Scrapple, like English muffin.
I don't even know what Scrapple is, so
Bellissimo.
You won't like it more if you find out.
It doesn't matter.
Keep it that
whatever
way.
it sounds like, it sounds
Keep
awful.
it that way.
You would love it.
Do you think Rob Manfred eats Scrapple? And
Absolutely not. No.
He is
And that's
syrup.
why he's
Rob-
so unhappy. He would be happier if he ate Scrapple.
when he sees you coming, into a press conference, does he just cringe in the corner and suck his thumb because he knows you're going to ask him a question that nobody else will?
He actually, I can't remember exactly what press conference it was, but there was one particular press conference where he made a point he said like, oh, you, and somebody else started talking, he said, Hannah, I meant to call on you first. He's trying to curry favor now by showing how unafraid he is to call on me.
Is this the modern day Howard Cosell, Muhammad Ali, or something like that? Hannah and Manfred?
I love press conferences. I said when I was texting with the producer that I think I'm the only person who press conferences are my favorite part of this job, and that's not a good brag because it's not the best part of the job to be great at, but I really do enjoy it, and I don't even mind Manfred's attempts to weasel out of questions because I think they are often so telling. I've said about him before that my favorite thing about Rob Manfred is that he doesn't suffer fools, and my least favorite thing about him is that he thinks we are all fools. But that can be used to our advantage. He loves to condescendingly explain things, and often he is very revelatory in the way that he does that.
Yeah, and the shot at A's fans and then coming afterward, I was taken out of context. Actually, the correct word was just sorry. That's it.
Yes.
That would have solved
He
a
never
lot.
apologizes.
Never,
Yes.
ever apologizes for anything. Maybe a look back at the Astros thing a million years later, but no apologies ever. The word sorry does not exist. If you put him under oath for multiple questions, what would you ask?
Okay. I have a list. Should I just run through the list?
Yes,
Oh,
please.
yes.
Wow. Yes.
I love lists.
All right. What was the behind-the-scenes reaction from big market owners about the way that John Fisher has gone about engineering his departure from Oakland? I would love to know what the Yankees, Steve Cohen,
Owners, I know the other owners love John Fisher.
As a person, not what he's
saying.
doing to the
I
sport.
know that.
they can't be mad. They got to be a little mad.
Other owners, they like John Fisher. I'm just saying.
Did you know, or how much did you know about the Astros cheating before the Athletics report? Because we know they have said that teams are always accusing each other of cheating, but teams were accusing the Astros of cheating. How did they look into it and not find this, or did they? All right. Number 3, how worried are you about the post-RSN finances for teams in the league as a whole? That's just because I want to be prepared. Was the league specifically targeting Max Scherzer with the sticky stuff?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, after he came on here and he talked about it, 2 days later he got whacked. So absolutely, 100% they got him.
Yes.
He was on here 2 days before, the exact scenario, and then 2 days he pitches and, oh yeah, by the way, you're gone. They
have said in press conference settings when asked about it that they don't think they have caught all of the pitchers who are using. Of course not. Then we've seen the spin rates. But if that's the case, you got to explain the few pitchers who are getting punished. How is that process of selection happening? All right. What was the biggest mess that Bud Selig left for you to clean up? To know that.
That's
and what's the craziest piece of intra owner goss? I want to know, like, who has like the most dangerous game island? Who hates who? I just want to know about the owners. We know so little about the owners, and they have such an impact on the game that we all love.
I can't agree more, Hannah. I am more I always say this, right? I'm so fascinated by each owner because they impact our sport more than owners impact other sports because there's no salary cap. You can run your team how you want. It's Wild West. Some of them are weird and don't talk. Some of them, when they do talk, it's a walking soundbite. I can't agree more. So, and next time we'll do this game again, and AJ did it for one. AJ will just answer each time because he's got an answer, right?
Rob and I are like this.
Yeah, but you have your own opinion. It's great. So we'll dress you up as Rob in a suit next time.
BFFs.
And you have to start all of your answers with, look.
Oh, that is so irritating to me, Hannah. Oh my gosh, don't start
And
with
if you
me.
say sorry, you're fired. Hannah, it was awesome having you. You can follow her at Hannah Kaiser. Read her articles in Yahoo Sports. Bandwagon, as you can see behind her. The pod, we'll listen to it later. And really appreciate you coming on, and we'd love to have you back.
This was so much fun. Let's do it again.
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. Hannah Kaiser with us on FT Live. And when we swing back, the College World Series is over. I'm going to do like when there's like 5 seconds going to break. Wait, who won?
What? Wait, my
who
earpiece
won?
went out. Wait, what? Field of Dreams.
breaking
Field
up.
of Dreams.
But who picked them? Who picked
Field of
them?
Dreams. Wait, what? Field of Dreams.
BRB. Okay, it is time to go over the first poll, and then we'll flip up the second one. So for those of you that were participating on Stadium, and a number of ways to do so, let's see how we did. You can see it on the screen right now. What kind of series did you like? From Field of Dreams to London, Mexico, Japan. AJ, you didn't pick yet. Go ahead.
Oh, Field of Dreams, the first one was one of the best games I've ever been to. Best atmosphere. I was fortunate enough to be on the field during batting practice and pregame when Kevin Costner came out. And if you ever get a chance to watch it back, my son and I are playing catch at the end of the game when Fox signs off, just like in the movie. So it was just a special moment. And plus, the other ones I've never been to, so I can only speak on the one I've been to. But Fox, if you want to send me to Paris or London or Japan or Australia, or I'm in. So I'm in.
Okay, I'm gonna find a place that they're gonna do the series where he doesn't want to go, and then we're like, okay, send him. There's got to be a spot AJ doesn't want to go. Actually,
Florida.
New Jersey. They're doing a New Jersey series.
Why would they waste their time with New Jersey?
The Pine Barrens series.
Yeah, Field of Dreams wins by a landslide, though. No surprise there. Poll question number 2 is going to be: what would you pick as a fan? 2 titles in 18 bad seasons. 1 title, 5 playoff appearances, and the rest over those 20 years, terrible seasons. Or you're in the playoffs every year, but you have no titles. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Get involved. WatchStadium.com/foul territory to participate. And I'd like to touch on the College World Series last night. And for more, here's AJ Pierzynski. Who won?
What? Who won what? The Angels.
The Angels. He stayed up for the Angels game and completely forgot the absolute boat racing that Florida got.
Yeah, well, obviously you turned. When did you turn away? When did you turn off? LSU dominating Florida.
Okay, so 10-2. You weren't on the show yesterday, Scott.
Well aware.
But so I have Jeff Fletcher's book here, Showtime.
Mm-hmm.
And I changed it to Jack Time, but now it's back to Showtime because Jack sucked. Jack didn't talk baseball.
Dude, he's in college.
I know. Listen, I get it. It happened. Baseball's hard, but they went up 2-0, and he had a pretty easy top of the first, and then the top of the second, he came out, walked the leadoff guy, fell behind, and I looked at my son who was sitting next to me, and I go, they better get somebody up now, because when Caglione loses it, he loses it, and he lost it so quick. And as soon as you go down 6-2. And then you start bringing in guys, and you just know, you can smell it. So I turned it off when it was about 8-2, because when it was 6-2, Florida had first and second, 2 guys on their 4-hole hitter. Rivera was up, and he took 3 strikes right down the middle and went back to the dugout. And I was like, well, this game's over. And it ended up, 18-4. And it was an ass whooping. But you know what? Congratulations, LSU. Way to go. Go Tigers.
Mm.
Yeah, you picked him yesterday. He picked him yesterday to win.
I did. See, I learned.
Because he's like, look, I'm gonna make the change. If I pick him, I look super smart.
Yep.
And he says when Florida wins, he's like, then I'll be super excited. So he tried it. Based on his face right now, I don't think he liked the out. I don't think he doesn't agree with us.
It's an emo hedge. I've told you guys about this before.
Oh yeah,
I'm not emo though.
He's not emo. He's all about the win, and he wants to be. He said yesterday, he goes, I want to be double right.
Yeah, but you nailed it, AJ. You picked correctly.
That's right. Yeah, I'm so proud of myself.
He's not proud. He's not proud at all.
Yeah, there's so much star power, too. That's what I want to point out, because I've been a guy who's hosted the draft for many years and gone over the prospect rankings and all of that. And you're going to see a lot of those dudes really, really, really early on in the draft.
Top 3 picks will be Skeens, Cruz, and Wyatt Langford from Florida.
Yes. Most likely. We have some cheap teams at the top that could be trying to.
And then Caglione probably will be 1-1 next year, I would guess.
He should be. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, Langford and Cruz, those boys can bang.
And stay tuned. We'll have a lot more on the draft coming up soon. We'll make some announcements, but we'll swing back with our picks for the night next.
In case you missed it, here's some scenes from around Major League Baseball from yesterday. And now, back to foul territory.
He was supposed to be the LSU coach.
Poll results, and this was kind of the result of the tanking conversation, is if you're a fan, what do you want? One title and a mediocre team, as in like you make the playoffs a few times here and there, not much, and then you're mostly just okay, but you won once out of 20 years. No titles, but in 20 years, you're in the playoffs every year, kind of like the Yankees over the past 15-ish years. Or you win 2 titles and you're terrible the rest of the years. Like kind of like 97-03 Marlins and then a bunch of shit. I'm actually picking the titles. I can do other things with my life if I know that I suck the other times, but the glory of winning, like I want 2 championships over 20 years.
So you just check out. You just check it. I mean, you'll
As
remember
a fan,
as
an
a fan,
owner, I want the playoff thing because that's what owners care about, relevancy more than titles.
As a fan, you're like, yes, like we won those titles. I'll never forget that year. I had a girlfriend during this. Now I have 3 kids during the other title. And then the other years you just check out in May.
Yeah,
like
when
you're like,
when
we're
you
out
tell
of it.
stories and memories, like I'm gonna be able to tell those, right? Like I was just at a festival. There was one night in particular that stands out that I'll talk about. The rest I'll just say it was awesome. Go ahead, AJ.
That'll be on another podcast,
Yeah.
AJ.
I was like, what podcast
Foul
is this
territory
going to
after hours. I'm just saying, like, you're not going to go over the 20-year history of your team. You're going to pick out like 2 moments for your friends,
Well, of
your
course.
kids, all that crap.
I'd take the 1 title and the 5 playoff runs and then the other mediocre.
Well, that's a
'Cause
losing
at least
attitude.
it seems like that, but at least it seems like that team is trying for those 20 years.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If you're winning 2 titles and tanking the other 18 years, that sucks. And then if you make the playoffs like the Rays do every year and then don't win a title, that sucks too because you get your hopes all up. You're like, we're going to win. And then, no, we're not. Just kidding. We fooled you again. So I take the 1 title, 5 playoffs, and the other, 14 years you're trying, but you don't make it.
That's the one that makes the most sense.
For sure. We used to play this in the minor leagues all the time. Would you hit 40 homers and hit 100 in the big leagues? Or would you rather hit 10 homers and hit 250 in the big leagues?
I think we have tomorrow's poll question.
Either one, because I'm in the big leagues. I'm not in the minor leagues. So it's
that's the answer. That's how we'd always do it. And we guys would be like, oh, man, that'd be great. Like, who cares? You're not in the minor leagues.
That's right.
It's a trick question.
Scott doesn't get those.
What? No. That's tomorrow. Anyway, let's hit our locks. Your Bet MGM locks looking back to Monday. And AJ needs to stop betting with his heart. Stop betting with your heart.
Do it.
Stop. Starting a website. StopBettingWithYourHeart.com. And
That's
it's
a
just
song.
big profile.
There's a
picture
song
of
about
AJ.
that for sure.
Oh, that's definitely a country music song, and then a remix, and then another remix. Trisha missed on hers, and obviously Kratz is on an absolute heater, up 570. So Kratz, you're hot as hell. You start off your Bet MGM locks for Tuesday. Got to listen to this guy.
Don't bet my heart, my achy breaky wallet. I'm going another same game parlay. If you don't like winning, don't follow my picks, okay? If you're bored with the same game parlays, because my guy Silent J went with a parlay too, or he's following in my footsteps, and I love that. I appreciate you, older brother. I'm going Framber Valdez has not gone under 5 strikeouts once this season. So he's going to give me 5 strikeouts. Monty, okay, old Jordan Montgomery, possible trade candidate for the Cardinals, just gives me 4 strikeouts. Now, this game is a little weird because neither team strike out a ton, but it's really bought down at 5 and 4 strikeouts, and that's at plus 110. I'm putting 300 out again to win 330. Appreciation station. I hope I'm not baiting you guys.
AJ?
I'm following Erik Kratz's footsteps. So I am pushing all in. After the disappointment of yesterday between the College World Series and the White Sox loss, I figure it's got to get better. And we talked to Mike Piazza for Legends territory today, and he said you don't look in the rearview mirror. The windshield is this big, and the rearview mirror is this big. So I'm going all in. And I have a same game parlay because I'm following Erik Kratz's lead. So I'm putting my 1,600 for Whitlock, 5 strikeouts or more, and Sandy Alcantara, just four, Sandy. I'm just four little K's on your little thing. Plus 105. So I don't know. They're going to have to figure out the math, but if I bet 1,600, it wins me something. But it's
A lot
over
of cash.
1,600. I'll be in the positives. That's all I care about.
You could buy that. You could buy that Alcantara down to plus 3 strikeouts, 3+ strikeouts, and it would be at like minus 125. I'm pretty sure. I looked at that.
But then I wouldn't be. But see, then I wouldn't get back to positive or even. See, I'd
That's
still
fair.
be in the negatives if I won.
I was more
don't
telling
want that.
AJ Pierzynski fans who are all about following AJ.
Good luck, AJ. I'm watching it tonight, okay? And I'm going nice and simple. Give me a little run line. Padres against the Pirates. I've been fading the Pirates so hard, so successfully. To get 2 or more on a dub on the differential right there. Yu Darvish tonight. Padres need some positive vibes. This weekend was rough, but then usually they break out and go nuts. Score like 8 in the first few innings.
Hold up. Kratz's picture. Okay, I get it. Philly played for the Phillies, but Scott, we're going poker face now.
I'm a poker guy now.
Shouldn't that be Kipnis and not you?
Yeah, but Kipnis isn't on the show every day. We'll put his poker picture up too. But that's my poker face right there. Okay. I don't want to give anything away. But Padres run line, if you like winning. Bonus code FOUL. Breaking news. That is your new promo code on Bet MGM. Sign up, deposit into your newly created account, download the Bet MGM Sports app, iOS, Android, or go to betmgm.com. You place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses. And if that bet does lose, your bonus bets will be available once the wager is settled. Again, it is just FOUL. There it is. Nice and simple. Get after it. And for the stadium crowd, this continues for another hour. Andres Jimenez from the Cleveland Guardians is going to join us, and we're going to rapid fire the hell out of this interview with him and ask him a billion questions and take him to places that we've never been before.
Realms unknown.
Yes, realms unknown. And then I'm really pumped to talk to Jonathan India. I think we're going to get him going with the Florida connection. AJ and him are going to cry for we'll give him 30 seconds, and then they'll mostly laugh and have fun and talk about how this is the most unexpected season ever for the Cincinnati Reds right now, who might have a chance to win the division and maybe even be World Series contenders if they make starting pitching additions. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what he says. They need pitching. We'll go over it with India coming up. So you can hit our Foul Territory YouTube channel, watch and interact with us live. I'll be taking questions for everyone as well. So again, thanks for the stadium crowd. We will see y'all on Wednesday, or stick with us for another hour, please.
Gotta let go so I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Let's go. Hour number 2 of FT Live, now only on the Foul Territory YouTube channel. AJ's dancing, a new open animation. I love it. We make everybody interactive now. Anyway, we talked about it earlier.
What was
just
different?
rewind if you want to see it. Just rewind. We can't replay the same jokes. Andres Giménez is going to join us soon, and Jonathan India, Captain America of America's team, the Cincinnati Reds, and the crazy win streak that they had going on. We'll get into everything with him, including Kirk Herbstreit and what he knows about him. There was a lot to do with Kirk and C. Trent Rosecrans and Ken Rosenthal and The Athletic and all of that. So I want to get Jonathan India's take. He might just be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. but I bet he knows.
He knows.
He knows.
He knows. He's aware.
Yes.
Good players are aware because they don't have to just focus and live and die on the field. Like average players are like, I got to do everything I can. Is a coach, is a manager coming to send me down? Good players like AJ was never like, man, I wonder if I'm making the team or not. So he can focus on other stuff. He can visit things. He can go to the London series, get some fish and chips. And
I wish.
Yeah. See, that's why the London series is the best because I answered it as a player. The London series would be best. Nobody wants to go to a cornfield as a player. You got like an hour bus ride to your hotel. Yes, the field is awesome. Fans look so awesome. You play catch with your son. London, let's go see Big Ben. I'm not talking about Roethlisberger either at Heinz Field.
I agree. Only one of those I got to play in was Fort Bragg, and it was incredible. That's so cool. I would love to be a player, anything, to be over anywhere, London, Paris. I talked about Paris. We had Mike Piazza on talking about they would like to maybe do something in Rome. Sign me up. Sign me up, coach. I'm in.
Italy?
Oh, Italy in the summer?
What's that called? The Amalfi Coast? Have a game there?
It was beautiful. I was there last summer. Oh, highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, and you put it on like a mountain and you can hit it, or not, on a cliff, and you hit it over the cliff.
Sure.
Into the ocean.
Make it a floating field.
Yeah.
Right there.
Dare to dream.
Boats. Yeah, absolutely. Live high.
It sounds like AJ at the festival. So anyway, what do players do? Whatever. What do players do when the game's over and they go into the clubhouse?
Oh, always on their phone.
I mean, it depends on what player you're talking about.
Most players now, Gen Z players, what do they do?
What you're doing right now?
So the reason I bring this up is
how many likes did I get today?
Yep.
What did people say about me? Oh, I had 3 hits and we lost 12-0. What are my mentions like? Oh, we suck, but at least I'm good. Hot corner time. So I bring this up because Adam Wainwright, who we love, one of the best personalities in this sport, and his final season is being played out right now, got rid of his socials. So he got rid of his Twitter.
Did
he gone?
Why?
341,000 too, man. Uncle Charlie.
I'm sure he wants to appreciate just the final season, not pay attention to that stuff. And Cardinals fans are freaking out. So super weird flex if you're a legit Cardinals fan to be going after Waino. But also, I mean, the context I put into trolls, first of all, half of them are probably bots. Second of all, I remember, for example, we had Chris Bassett on, right? And he had like 1 or 2 bad starts. It was like a month into the season, and some of the crap I was seeing even on like the comments in a couple of the tweets we put out after of him talking, people are like, pitch better, and you'd look it up and it's like a Blue Jays fan who's like really pissed. And I'm like, oh, you don't want him? You know what? You should trade him. Why don't you take over the team and you trade away the dude that you picked up? And then 5 seconds later, I remember I saw one and I should have screenshot it. And I don't want to go that far because maybe the dude's weird, but the same person a week later is like, that's my quarterback. That's my starting pitcher going out there for a CG. Like, shut the fuck up.
I love you, Seabass.
Shut up and leave. Is Waino getting trolled? Is that what's going on here, AJ? Have you been investigating?
I haven't. I didn't know about this until just now, so I might have to send a text and ask him what the heck happened. But man, like, how can you get on Wainwright? I mean, one of the best dudes of all time, one of the best Cardinal pitchers of all time, and it's not his fault they suck. I mean, it's a community effort over there in St. Louis from the top down. So why are we trolling Wainwright? I mean, this dude would do anything for you. And I mean, he was a good follow on social media too. Now he just took one of the best follows in Major League Baseball and made him delete his career. So if you're one of these trolls, man, stop. And we had Doug Minkiewicz on the Legends territory. And if you follow him on Twitter or Instagram, he fires right back at these dudes, man. It's awesome. He's like, oh, you think I'm a schmuck? How many hits? He's like, how many times did you play in the big leagues? All you people that say I was just an average player. Well, guess what? What does that make you? He says all these things right back to him, and it shuts him up pretty quick. So, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I never had social media when I played because, as we all know, Twitter and Instagram, they're all undefeated because as soon as you get a couple pops in you and someone writes something, you fire something back and your life's over. So it's a tough space because it can do so much good, but the people that just treat it and take advantage of it because you're hiding behind a screen, just it's dumb. Like, just don't try to be nice to people.
I get it. I get the entertainment value out of it, and if you take it past the entertainment value, then that's when it flips and it becomes very negative. But there's guys. I love going to games and sitting back and listening to fans, because there's the dudes who come with like 3 people. Maybe there's like some girls next to them in the stands, and they're like, "Yo, Pierzynski! Yo, you can't even spell your last name!" And then like nobody really responds, but they turn to their boys and they're like, "Yeah, no, man.
Got him.
Right, totally got him." And that's what they're just doing behind the screen right now.
Hey, I was when I went to the Braves game a couple weeks ago as a fan. I was sitting there, and these 2 guys were next to me, and they were like, "Yo, this guy's this, and this guy's this," and I'm just sitting there with my kids and my wife, my family's next to me, and I'm just listening to this. And my son finally looks at me and goes, "Dad, are you going to tell them they don't know what they're talking about?" And I'm like, "No, this is too good." I mean, they had a comment about every pitch and every player and da-da-da-da-da. Like they were Alex Anthopoulos of the Braves. They literally went through every guy and were like, "Oh, yeah." And then the Mets are playing the Mets. And he's like, "Oh, Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor." And I'm just like, you guys have no idea what you're talking about. So, but it made me laugh because I don't take stuff like that personally, because it's just people trying to get under your skin. And so, yeah. I mean, I get it though, Wayne. Like, he doesn't need to deal with that. And your last year, you're out there to have fun. You don't want to deal with idiot people out there.
He's got a lot going on.
I think if you're the owner of the sport, I mean, if you're the commissioner of the sport, though, you shouldn't be going up on a podium and saying, "Oh, average attendance for one night." Am I right? Am I right? Set a good example, okay? Anyway,
I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sharp coming off my my weekend and driving overnight to get back here. Anyway, Andres Jimenez from the Cleveland Guardians joining us again right now on FT Live. Andres, great to see you, and the smile as always. So, wanted to start here actually. Do you pay attention to social media? Like, what are your interactions with fans? And I don't remember if you have Twitter, and I know you're on Instagram. Do you get nice notes every once in a while or comments from people being like, "Hey, you're awesome"? Do you get any where they're trying to, fix your swing or something? Like Matt Olson told us last week, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm good. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to hit 50 bombs this year."
What's up, guys? Honestly, yeah, I use Instagram more than anything. I don't really use Twitter as much as other people, but I don't really, pay attention to the DMs, I just use it for, to be like in the actual world, to see what's going on even in my country or in the sport.
So, like, in the translation for Spanish, I looked up trolls. Entiende trolls? To
Yeah,
trolls?
I know what. Yeah, I
in
know
Spanish,
what that means.
it's trolls. So then I looked up hater.
Yeah, hater.
What in Espanol? How do you say hater though?
No, I will use the same word.
Okay,
Yeah,
just hater.
everyone know
Not
what it means. Yeah.
Not enemigos.
Yeah, enemigos. Yeah, we can
Enemigos.
call enemigos, but hater is more like a specific thing on the social media.
At the field, what do you say to the haters? Estadio enemigos. What do you say to them?
Yeah,
Hablando
it's called
or
like
no?
yeah, it's called like the people who talk, the wrong way. But if you say hater, we're gonna understand.
But what do you say to them? What do you say to the haters at the stadium, at the estadio, when they're like, "Hey, Andres, you suck," and you're like, "Hey, you suck more because yo soy aquí, tú eres en el siéntete."
No, I usually don't say anything. It's just some places that you go and you find some good haters, like they know what they're saying. But I don't really pay attention to that. As a competitor, it kind of like gets you going, Hear kind of trash from the stands.
Andres, I'll see you this weekend in Wrigley Field. I'm doing the game on Saturday. So when I walk on the field, and you'll see how many enemigos I have in Wrigley Field, I'll teach you how to talk to them all and put them all in their place, okay? So I'll say, okay. This guy's going to say, "Hey, Pierzynski, you suck.
Teach me a little bit.
You." Yeah, I hate you. And I'll just be like, "Oh, you're a Cub fan. Your life sucks anyways." Right? Right? So when I see you on Saturday, we'll sit down and we'll have a lesson. We'll talk and we'll go sit in the stands, and you can watch how real hating happens in one place, because it's going to be special. And anytime I'm in Wrigley, you'll see it's a different atmosphere than what you're used to seeing in Cleveland or wherever you may go.
Yeah, it's different. I feel like big cities are different. The fans are really, on the game, especially New York, Chicago, LA. Those fans are on the game. Our division is kind of different.
¿Quién más difícil fans? Who has the most difficult fans of the whole league? Todo league.
I will say because I have experience when I was with the Mets, even when I was in the minors, I was getting, message or DMs on the social media. And I would say New York. New York has a really good like fans that get into the game.
What about in Cleveland during the playoffs? Do Cleveland fans get do they get angry?
No, the Cleveland fans are great, man. They support every single time. Yeah.
For you, but what about for the
For
other
us.
team? Because
For
in
us.
2000,
For the other team, yeah, they get loud. They get really loud, yeah. Even last year was my first experience in playoff, and I was like, oh man, I didn't see these people, like that in the regular season, and they get different in the postseason, so it was special.
What did you hear? Did you hear anything good? Did you hear them say anything? Like you were like, whoa. Yeesh,
No, not really,
I see
because
it.
you kind of like really focus on the game. That it's that way that you look everything, and you just focus on the game. But obviously,
Andres,
you hear the noises.
Andres, speaking of the postseason, do you know how many games you guys are out of first place right now?
I don't know, maybe one.
One.
Okay.
Okay. Well, 1.5, but you're tied in the loss column, which is what you really look
Yeah.
at. So you guys play Kansas City, then the Cubs. So you guys could be in first place by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, I feel like the most important thing is just be in the first place at the end of the season. We have so many great teams that we're gonna play against,
No,
and
dude.
we
Oh,
have
hold on.
to.
Hold on. Whoa. Your division sucks. I mean, you guys are 3 games under 500 and your game out of first place. So
Yeah, it's kind of different.
yeah. So the great teams there isn't a great team in your division. It's fine. It's okay. But
No,
you
but
guys
we
play the
got
Royals
Tampa
and
Bay.
then you
We
play
got
the
Tampa Bay
Cubs.
left. We got like 6 games against Tampa Bay. We got 3 against Houston. We got couple teams left.
Okay, you guys will be. I think you guys are going to be okay, though. I think
Yeah,
Minnesota
I
had
feel
their
the
chance
same
to run
way.
away.
I really trust on the team that we have.
Okay, that's.
Andres, you should get back at him. At some point, what? Say, okay, because first of all, you guys are looking at me. First of all, you had, as you've said, it's not been the smoothest start for Cleveland. Yet you guys look up and you're like, yo, you can redo or start right now where you're at, and you're only a game and a half out. You have that luxury. So you could tell AJ. I know you're not going to say screw you. You're too nice. But you could say to AJ, like, look, dude, we're a legit playoff team. Leave us
Dude, that's
alone.
what I just said.
What?
I just said they're a game out of first. They could be in first place by the end of the week. That's exactly
Yes.
what I just told them.
Tell him, Andres.
Yeah. I feel like last year. The first 2 or 3 months were kind of like, we were 500, I think, at this point, and from there we just, the weather kind of helped us, and we started going from there. And I remember saying the same thing like 2 weeks ago about like our team. I don't know, something special in June or in July. I don't know. It maybe have if the weather or something, but we start to play better when the weather's going.
¿Quién es mejor en toda liga? Who's the best? Who's the best player in the whole league right now?
I would say Shohei, just the way that he's playing. He's pitching. He hit for power, hit for average, RBI. I don't know if I have another answer, but Shohei for me right now, Shohei Ohtani.
What about Ellie De La Cruz?
Oh, he's pretty exciting. I just watched a couple like highlights on the MLB, and he's young. He can do a lot of stuff on the field.
Andres, do people like players and your teammates talk about Ohtani as much as fans are talking about him right now. Like, obviously when you play him, it's different. You're going to talk about them. But even on other times, like what you see last night, he hits a 446-foot bomb, and now it's pretty regular for him. Most of his home runs are not cheapies, right? And he looks like he potentially could be the most dangerous hitter this year and still be number 1 or 2 level pitcher in terms of his numbers.
No, we don't talk a lot about other players. Honestly, we just focus on the game, or preparation, or team. And being honest with you, we don't have that kind of conversation with any player. We just focus on our game. Being honest with you, and try to prepare ourselves to win the game that night.
So, if you're focused on your own team, All-Star game coming up pretty soon. Can you state a case for one or multiple teammates that you think should make it to the All-Star game to represent Cleveland?
Obviously, Jose is gonna be there. The name is gonna be there, obviously. But I will say Josh Naylor. He's having a great year, offensively, of course, and he's playing pretty good first base. And I think he deserved to be there.
Do you know how the voting process works with All-Star? You know how there's the voting and then it goes to the stage 2 and all of that. Do you guys keep track of that? Even just for your teammates to be able to make it?
Yeah, I kind of learned a little bit from last year, and it was weird because in voting I was eliminated and then I was selected to the game. So I think it's something from votes and something with the numbers and something like that. But I'm pretty sure what I'm saying about Josh Naylor, he deserved to be there.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's kind of hitting my point. I feel like voting has gotten a bit confusing.
Yeah, it is.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Especially, yeah, last year I was telling my family we couldn't make it because we don't have the votes. And then I changed my answer we made it. It was kind of confusing because, all the votes and all that process.
Yeah, right.
But
you're voting.
I feel it is really fun for fans.
Yeah, no, it is. And there's multiple rounds. Do you guys understand it well?
No,
Not the new
one.
Yeah, not the new one.
The new one is very confusing.
I love how.
Yeah, the only thing that I know is
votes.
that the guy who gets top votes in each league is go straight to the All-Star game. That's what I know.
Yes. And then the rest do another round after that. So, which basically it's more clicks for, the website and all that kind of stuff. But
I missed the paper voting. Remember the paper? We had to punch the ballot, and you had to go put it in the box, and you sit there with
Tu sabe papel? I don't know, 10 years ago, I think, maybe?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
El solo en el papel. No more on the teléfono.
As a player?
No, as fans.
You would go to the game, right? Or to certain, and there were other spots, locations, right? Where would you get the
and they
select
like your grocery store, local. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you put it, and then you actually take it, and you take the paper, and you put it in a box, and then they send it out, and supposedly they counted it, but I don't believe it.
Andres might be like, what's paper? What's a DVD? What's a cassette tape? No, I know. But I mean, yeah, in the non-digital world. But I don't know. My point is with All-Star, I mean, even Andres is saying it, you didn't quite understand and know if you're going to be in or not. I feel like, it's fun for fans, but maybe a little simpler with the process. Vote, they're in, then there's a next round for the managers and players and whoever else is voting. You know what I'm saying?
And then everyone says they don't want to play, and then the next person gets in, and pretty much if you don't make an All-Star team, you stink. Andres, in the hotel, okay? Ahora, in the hotel, tiene una suite o normal habitación in a hotel.
Translate.
Do you have a suite in the
No.
hotel? You're
I got a suite. I got a suite now. Yeah.
Malo tuya.
Yeah, that was the first thing that I was thinking on mine because coming up from the minor leagues and getting into the big leagues, I remember first trip, and I was like, this is a normal, room. And they explain me like the guys who got contract had a bigger room. And then I get invited to one and I was like, oh man, this is like an apartment.
So then what happened?
This is different. And now with family, I when they travel with me, I try to, give them the more comfy, place to stay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So were you motivated? Did you talk to your agent? Because does that have to get built into the contract, right?
Yeah, obviously I told him, hey, that I want to split right in the road trips. And he was like, oh, I was expecting this answer for you.
Do they ever run out? Like, what if the hotel's super packed in a city you're at, or is it a guaranteed suite situation? Yeah.
It happened, something happened with me last road trip in San Diego. They were packed. And I was like, I have to wait like 30 minutes or 40 minutes and they get my suit.
They'll find it for you because you're a jefe
Yeah.
now. You're a jefe. Who else has suites? Who else has suites on the team?
I would say obviously the guys who got a contract.
So Jose,
Bieber.
Yeah.
Bieber.
Well,
Oh, maybe not
Stroh.
Bieber.
no, Bieber's still under team control.
Dude, Bieber's
I
got a
think it was
Cy Young. He's
Stroh.
getting a suite.
Clase.
Class
Class on
A.
a longer term.
Josh Bell.
Yeah, maybe Stefan.
Josh Bell? No. You think
What
Josh
about
Bell?
3 years?
Josh Bell signed
Yeah,
a
yeah.
contract.
I think he
Oh,
does. I
Stefan
think
got a
he does,
contract
yeah.
too.
Stefan,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think all the guys who has contract.
Right, because then you can write it in. I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm the last person to know about this out of this group. Initially, before you sign your either free agent or extension type of deal, that's not in just a regular, what do they call it? The basic
Contract? No,
contract
I don't think
where
so.
it's-
agreement.
The basic agreement doesn't have, I'm
I don't
assuming,
think so.
doesn't have that,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
No, it doesn't. I think it doesn't.
You pay extra. Do you ever give your room? Do you ever give your suite to somebody else? Like, let's say your familia is not in town. Do you ever say, hey, I'll take the extra room?
AJ shaking his head.
Josh, well, I know you wouldn't, AJ.
Oh, because that's when you have the
No,
suite.
no,
That's
no.
where you have the Fiesta.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I like my suites.
you like it. You
Yeah,
never
see,
give it away.
It's just
Smart
because
man.
you have like two. It's just like you have two different, space.
Can we see it, or is there too much mess going on? Because the suites
No,
are
too much mess
awesome.
going on.
Too much mess.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
I
we
think
just get here last night.
Yeah, and stuff's everywhere.
Yeah.
Andres, do you think it's helpful ultimately? I mean, maybe not, if it's a few days, but for a longer term situation like a season now that you get, separate rooms. Bedroom is supposed to be cave, right? Go to sleep, like you're not hanging out in there. So if you're in basically studios all the time on the road, and yes, these are first world problems. I get it. Like still in a hotel, it's not, the end of the world, but is it helpful where it's like bedroom and I go to sleep there? And then otherwise, because you have to still spend a decent amount of time in your hotel room, you go out, you can sit at the desk, sit on the couch, do whatever you're doing. Is that helpful for you mentally to kind of have the bedrooms for sleeping separate?
Yeah, for me, it helped me. It feels like I'm in two different places. Like right here, I'm doing, watching videos on my computer, just playing video games. And basically, when I go to the other side, just going to sleep. Instead of just everything in once. I don't know if I explain well.
No,
Andres, you're in Kansas City. You have a coffee machine behind you. Do you go to? Are you a Starbucks or are you a make coffee in your room guy?
No, I don't. I'm not a big coffee guy, but when I get one, I go to Starbucks and get one.
What's your order?
Ice white mocha. I remember that one with caramel drills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Nice.
remember that. I remember that one because my wife, she told me.
do they ever spell your name right on your cup?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Not really.
Come on,
Not
no
really.
way.
Even what's the mark of the
They always missing the S at the end.
So,
they call me
Andre,
Yeah, Andre.
Andre 2000, ice cold.
So you don't need to drink coffee every day though? Like you're not in a routine with that? You'll just mix it up?
No, not really. I have a lot of energy, so
And what happens when you drink coffee, though? Are you like this?
No, sometimes.
Robobase, no senior.
No. Sometimes you need it. Like you wake up a little bit down, maybe tired, or maybe the flight it was long. Or sometimes you need a little more energy.
What happens if you go to Starbucks? Like, let's say mañana you go to Starbucks and you're like, wow, this caramel macchiato, whatever your drizzle thing is. I don't drink much coffee either, so I don't know this. What happens if you drink a coffee at Starbucks and you're like, you go out that night, 3 hits. Próximo día, are you back at Starbucks again or no?
No, not really.
No?
No.
Maybe a little, maybe just like a sip?
No, maybe I do a little something different or something that I remember I did the day before. But
Something
no,
else.
not with the coffee.
Not coffee.
He's the anti-AJ, not superstitious then.
No,
Yeah.
no cafe.
No cafe.
No, no coffee.
Anti-Scott.
Yeah, exactly.
Scott.
You're the anti-me right now, okay?
Bebe café todo el
I'm
tiempo.
drinking enough coffee for 4
Está
of us.
loco.
Yeah, I think I've had 6
Sí,
espresso
café todo el
shots
día.
now. Yeah. Andres, hey, go do your thing. You got to hit the ballpark right now. Hit the team bus. Good catching up with you, buddy. We'll talk to you again in a few weeks.
All right. Nice to see you guys.
See you
AJ, I see you
Saturday.
in
See you
Chicago.
Saturday, Andres.
Oh, yes. See you Saturday.
see you
See you
Saturday.
Saturday.
Enjoy the Wawa.
Cheers. Andres Jimenez joining us on FT Live, and we will have Jonathan India very soon from America's team, the Cincinnati Reds.
Why do you keep saying that? Because they called themselves that, America's team?
Oh, you
Why do I
didn't see
keep
the
saying that?
post-game
We're not-
interview?
Yeah.
No, I saw it. I saw it.
Yeah.
So
It's America's team.
why did you ask me
Dallas
that?
Cowboys were America's team. I thought the Atlanta Braves
They
were
haven't won in
America's
like 25 years.
America's team can change. An American can have
Totally.
multiple teams too. What? America's team's only one team, and it's you know what? Save it because
No.
we're gonna bring on
No.
Captain America. No,
Yeah.
we're bringing on Captain America, so we'll ask
What's
him
his name?
about it.
Chris Pine's coming on? What's his
David
name?
Wright. David Wright's Captain
Oh, David
America.
Wright. I thought it was Mike Trout. Oh, that can change too.
Yeah, because then ask Waino. Cardinals fans can love him, and for what 19 years or whatever the hell he's been in the league.
Since he
And
threw
then-
that curveball,
And
Carl
then,
Beltran.
sorry, he's the number 5. Like, he's not expected to be the ace of the freaking ball club, and the team, didn't acquire any pitching, and it's his fault. I don't know.
Nah,
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
doesn't.
All right, let's go in the weeds for a little bit. Let's get lost in the forest.
In the forest.
The Atlanta Braves are incredible. They've won 11 of their past 12. They're 18-4 this month. And where was I listening? I heard a show the other day. I was listening over the weekend. They're like, I think that the NL East is going to tighten up a little bit. And I was like, rewind. Excuse me? Like, yeah, you're right. It might tighten up.
Second
After
through
one.
third place.
Yeah, after one. This is a wipeout. It's not even close. And it's going to get, I would say, even larger, the deficit. They're still missing starters that are coming back. And they're going to make moves at the trade deadline because they always do. This team is not even, in my mind, peaking right now. And they're 18-4 this month. No?
I think they're
regular
peaking.
season, but I'm saying this team has the potential to be even more dangerous if they're even healthier come playoff time. And now they can, here's the biggest part. I think cruise control is helpful most of the time because they can control situations. They're still going to be playing against teams that are fighting for shit. Like the year I always bring up is, I think it was the year the Cubs won. I think they were running away with that division. In the last month and change, there were quotes. There were a few complaints from players like that they're getting a little extra rest mixed in. They're lining everything up, rotation, whatever. They did fine. I'm usually a fan of that. You're not?
I'm not talking about whether, staying healthy is the name of the game. That's why the Braves weren't in the World Series last year. They threw 94-mile-an-hour Strider out there instead of 99-mile-an-hour Strider, and the Phillies, the only time all year, whacked him. So, yes, staying healthy is super important. Where that line is, you have to, as an organization, as managers, as players, communicating with your managers, you have to set that kind of stuff up. But I think the Braves, I said it a few days ago when they played the Reds, it looked like they turned it on in that series because they said first game, it was like, whoa, this Reds team is way better than we thought. And it looked like they were like, okay, they're way better than we thought. We can turn it up a notch. So I think the Braves are playing some of their best ball. The at-bats they're putting together, they're striking out a tick less in these games that are bigger games, and they're still rising above playing hot teams like the Reds. And the game last night, Sonny Gray didn't pitch awful. They were just better, and Strider was just better. Like, to me, I think they're playing their best baseball right now, and I don't think you can say, okay, when Max Fried comes back and they send Elder down to the minor leagues, if I'm not saying Elder's getting sent down, he's been unbelievable.
Elder's getting sent to Seattle for
he's
the
getting
All-Star game.
right. You're not going to be filling in. The guys that have been filling in have been doing just as good as their Cy Young and Cy Young candidate pitchers. That's going to help them stay healthy. Like, they're not just going to all of a sudden put Max Fried in, and Max Fried's going to go 10 straight starts with 0 earned runs and be like, oh, thank goodness we bumped Elder back to the number 4 slot in our rotation. So I don't think they're going to be better than they are now. I just think because Olsen is going to have a downturn. But when Olsen has a downturn in his production because he's kind of streaky, then Riley's going to pick it up. Arcia is going to have a downturn. And then, Albies will pick it up, who's having a little bit of a for him, a downturn. He's hitting like 265 or something.
And Sean Murphy's pretty good too. Anyway, we just found out our next guest ready to go on FT Live. Let's bring on Jonathan India for the first time on Foul Territory. Jonathan, what's going on, dude? I think we should start here because you have a die-hard Florida Gators fan on the show with you. So I'll let AJ intro and take it away.
His tears are still in his beers. Go
ahead. Go ahead, guys. AJ, go ahead.
Hey. Jonathan, I don't know during the rain delay you won that massacre last night like I did.
Yeah.
But, you played there. I get it. Your boy Singer, Cower, both were there. They're both watching it in the stands. I have my trusty helmet next to me every day. I know I've known Sully. I've known Sully for 30 years. I remember when you were there. So what was Sully? What do you think Sully said to the team after that loss last night?
I don't know, man. That was a tough one. I thought, after the game they had a couple of days ago, I thought they were going to come out even hotter. But I don't know. That was a tough loss. I don't know. I think they just wasted all their runs on that day. They came out too hot on the second game. But yeah, Sully's probably, Sully gets a little mad and tries to fire their guys out. But I don't know. That was just not a good game. But the good run for them.
True. So now let's get back to the Reds. We've mourned together. We've cried together now after last night's game. So let's go back to the Reds. What's it like? Because you've been through the shit. Let's admit, you've been through the shit, right? The bad years and now the rebuild, and here you guys are playing great. So talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a different level of baseball we're playing. We have a different team than the past two teams. It's just, we're young, energetic. We have a lot of passion. We're mentally, everyone's locked in. We're all competing and we all want to win. So when you have that same mindset, I mean, you've played for a long time. When you have a team with one goal and one mindset and everyone buys in, it's like, something special really happens. And with the energy we bring every day, it's a good team, man. It's a scary team too.
Is it you though? Is it you that drives this boat? Is it you that is pushing that? Because I read some quotes from spring training. You said everyone needs to be the same mindset. We didn't have this mindset last year,
right? But
we need to have this mindset no matter what the outcome. And then the part that I thought I love, you just said it. You need to play with an edge, but the part that you said, play with too much emotion. So what if you make people mad? So is this you? Is this you? I'm not saying you're stepping on Votto's toes or anything like that, but is this your mindset that you're trying to instill in the guys?
Yeah, I'd say in spring training, I got there early this year, and I wanted to build, a core group of guys with that mindset and let them feed off the rest of the team, and it's working. So I think a lot of the younger guys are buying in, and they love the way they see the older guys playing, and it's just, it's all one mindset now, and we're playing with a lot of passion, and it's just, and you feel it, you feel it when you step in the locker room every day. You get to feel that everyone's excited, everyone's wanting to be on that field and compete, and there's no team that scares us. So it's like we want to compete and give it all we got every day on that field.
It's easy to say that, but have there been people that you've been like, dude, you're not, have you been calling people out like you're not on board, or you're like, or telling people who make decisions like, nah, like this guy's not on board. He either needs to step up or he needs to get out, whether he's a good player or he's not a good player. Have you had to step up and do that?
No, I mean, I haven't said no. I feel like every team that we bring in is on board. They can feel the energy right away. The guys we call from AAA, they feel it. It's kind of like an intimidating factor when they step in our locker and they're like, oh wow, this is serious. These guys are competing, but we're also enjoying it. We're not all seriousness. We're enjoying it. So no, everyone's buying in, and it's special to see.
And you hear rookies going like, yeah, Jonathan's been a huge help. He's a big leader. I think that's important. We interview multiple players on this show every day. And sometimes we'll ask, like, who's the leader in the clubhouse? Sometimes you get like auto answer right away, 1, 2, 3 guys, whatever. And sometimes you get answers from some guys that are just like, oh, everyone, or it's just a mix, or we don't have one. And usually we look at each other like,
and they suck.
I don't know. I mean, throw somebody out there. Geez, even if you want to give multiple candidates because you want to be political about it. Do you feel like it is important to be able to name some names where you're like, yo, go to him about that. See what he thinks.
Oh, yeah, I think it is important to name some leaders on the team, just because they set examples. They lead by example. That's one thing a lot of us do. Now there's no voice, big vocal leaders on our team. It's more setting by example and playing the way we play. And I think that feeds off to every teammate. But yeah, I think it is good to talk to like Joey. Joey's a big time, obviously, leader in our team just because of who he is and the way he plays still. And you see, he just got back from his injury, and it's like he never missed 10 months. He just gets right back into it. And he's always there for us. So, that's a big time leader for us on our team as well.
What about you? We had Kirk Herbstreit on here. I mean, he went to battle for you on Twitter, on our show. I mean, he loves you. So
you owe him dinner.
Yeah, you owe him not only dinner, you owe him a lot of
case of wine
too.
Case of wine. Give me some college game day passes to Florida, then I'll take him to dinner.
Yeah,
but only if I get to go with you.
Yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be fun, huh? Yeah, no, I mean, I just do what I have to do to play the game I know how to play. I come in every day prepared, with energy, being a good teammate, and and having the will to win every day. I just come up with that same mindset, and I think it feeds off to the guys. If guys have said, "Oh, he's our leader, he's our captain," I don't think of myself like that. I don't label myself as that. I just come in every day to compete and lead by example. I don't really say much. I lead by example and do my thing.
All right, so obviously we got to talk about Ellie as a player. I don't really care about Ellie as a player. I want to know what Ellie is like on the bus. Has he been in the front of the bus on the mic, singing a song? I mean, what do you guys do in the front of the mic? In front of the bus?
Yeah. We've had him. We've had him up there. He was singing in Spanish. He doesn't really know much English, so we had to get him. We got to teach him some English. He actually rapped a full song in Spanish, no phone, so that was pretty sick. He just put the beat on and rapped the whole song. So we were pretty impressed. We're like, all right, next time tell us a story in English. Like, just learn, figure it out. And we don't care if you look like a fool, just do it. And he was like, okay, I'll try. But it was actually pretty impressive, And you could tell that he's 21, but he has so much confidence, and you could tell by the way he is off the field, which I love. That's how you have to play this game, with confidence. It's the only way to be really good at this game. So yeah, it is pretty cool to see how a 21-year-old like that is able to stand in front of a bus, doesn't know English, and doesn't get nervous. It's just a pretty cool scene.
Did you make him go sit in the baño, or was it was good enough?
I didn't do it. It was like Joey doesn't really do it. It's Luke Maley's the mic guy for us.
Okay.
He's a great mic guy. Great mic guy. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
He didn't make him sit in the banyo. Are there other
No,
rookies that got to sit in the
because
banyo?
he actually, out of all the rookies, was like almost the best because he rapped the full song without even looking at a phone. So we were like, okay, well, we didn't know what you just said, but at least you did it, you know. Some of the
That's
other
legit.
rookies just you get nervous and we just go tell them to sit in the bathroom.
Yep. Fair. Love that.
Jonathan, if you and Ellie De La Cruz got into a race, how because you're quick, how far would he beat you by?
And you worked on your sprint speed this year.
And how
I
many
did.
less steps would it take for him to get from A to B than you?
Yeah, no, he just his strides are, I mean, incredible. I don't have that. Maybe I got him off the jump. I'll get him off the jump like a couple steps, but then it's not even close after that. He's beaten me by at least, I don't even know, a lot. He's the fastest human I've ever seen on a baseball field.
Is there any possible situation where you would beat him? Like if there's like a food you're running for, like you're like, I'm getting this, like, or something you're running away from.
I don't know. I just
no
think
way.
he's physically just faster than me. Even if I had the will to try to beat him, I think he's just gifted physically. He could probably backpedal and beat most guys on our team. He's that fast.
If he carried like a medicine ball under each arm or something, and he was just like,
yeah, I would beat him. I'd beat him with that.
Okay, that's fair. So you're close.
I'd tell him put a weighted vest on or something, or ankle weights.
Right. It's like, how much weight does Ellie need to be like holding or consuming for you to be able to beat him or others to be able to beat him in a race, right? 5-pound dumbbells? I don't know. What's his BP like? Is he putting on a show for everyone? Is it easy? Because you said like he's confident. He's got a big personality. Is he playing to the crowd?
So we're not even in the same BP group. I'm in the first group. He hits in the second group. So I'm taking my ground balls. I don't really see much of his BP, but I saw it a couple days ago, and he's actually, doesn't really swing hard. He just hits ground balls. And then I think the last round they said, I haven't seen his last round, but they say he goes deep in the last round. He hits him like way out of the stadium. So
you're
I'm
allowed
gonna
to
stay
that's
on
a
one of these
veteran
days and
move.
check it out.
Veteran move. See, Kratz doesn't know about that group one, then you go in. See, that's the
Yeah,
veteran
group one,
move.
you go in. Yeah.
Group one and then in. What Shag?
Group one, and you're out.
Yeah, Shag.
Whoa,
wait,
whoa.
what? Shag. Wait, huh? Wait,
Whoa,
what's
whoa.
Shag?
You gotta get
The
ready for
one
the
day
game.
a week, I would hit in group one, and then
It
I'd
was in
go
the
in.
cage though. It was in
But
the
wait.
cage because it was Sunday.
It was definitely inside. Sometimes we'd hit, but I knew about the group of broken dreams. Group 3 is a group of broken dreams. You never lay there as a kid and gone, man, I can't wait to hit in group 3 in the
Group
big
three,
leagues. It's
yeah,
gonna be
group
so
3, man.
great.
Yeah, that's not the best group. You get the worst BP thrower, You
Yep.
get like the intern
Yep, who's
bullpen guy.
trying it out.
Yeah.
You got
It's
to
not
do your
the best
bunting.
BP.
You got to do
Exactly.
bunting.
Yeah, exactly. They don't, and then you get cut short,
Yup. Time's up.
It's never the best.
No baseballs left because India hit them all out into the bleachers.
Yeah, the first group usually takes the whole time up too.
22 minutes. Supposed to be 15-minute rounds. First
Yeah, I
group's
know.
out there.
It's funny.
Just
It
working
is
on
funny.
some stuff.
Exactly.
Selfish.
Jonathan, what's the last few weeks been like after you guys went on that run? Have you met anybody? Has there been any famous people from Cincinnati area? I don't know, Todd Frazier maybe that's shown up out of the blue. They're like, hey, look at me, man. I'm a Reds fan now.
Todd comes out to the ballpark quite a bit. I actually saw him on this trip. He's here. He's on our trip here.
See? See? Look at him. He's a Reds fan now.
Yeah. Bandwagon.
But yeah, we've been getting a lot of love. We've been getting a lot of love from Kirk Herbstreit was actually sitting like first row in our game. That Braves series was packed. There's probably some famous people there I didn't see, but we're just getting a lot of love on Instagram, the whole social media network and everything. Joe Burrow's been coming to our games a lot. It's been good though. It's been pretty fun. We're trying to stay away from all that noise and just play our game and stay true to ourselves.
Didn't he take BP with you guys? He rakes, doesn't he?
He did. He had a couple out.
Yeah, like his swing was decent. It wasn't
a decent swing. Yeah, he wasn't hitting the game obviously, but he had a good BP swing.
He wouldn't hit in the game.
I thought you were talking about Kratz for a second.
No
Sorry.
I didn't hit in the game. He said he wouldn't hit in the game. There's a big difference. I got way more juice than Burrow, okay? Put that in the book. I'll come to a Bengals game and tell him to his face. His offensive linemen aren't around.
Yeah, there's some big boys there. Some big boys.
You know who you don't talk shit to? Mike Tyson. When did you meet him?
I did meet him. You're right.
Wow.
Yeah, I met him in Chicago.
That's so cool.
In the off season at like a signing. We had a signing together, and he was an awesome guy. Like down to earth, super nice. He knew who I was. It was pretty weird. I was like, I introduced myself and everything, and he knew who I was. He was like, "Oh yeah, you're the Reds player, man." Like, you know, I just watched you play a couple times. I guess he likes baseball. It was a pretty cool experience though, and you know, he had a lot of people around him, so we had a short, little, quick conversation, and you know, did our signings. But it was an honor to meet that guy. You know, he's the best boxer in the world. Yeah, it's just he's an animal, honestly.
Wait, so somebody paid to go and have Jonathan India and Mike Tyson signed together? Like, did you guys sign any like pictures, or was it like a big conference that you guys went? That seems so rando.
It wasn't just ours. We were in the same room though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it wasn't just. It was like
It wasn't just
signing
Jonathan
convention.
India and Mike Tyson.
No, that would be crazy. I mean, that would be insane.
That would be awesome.
I would have made a lot more money than when I made that signing.
Okay.
But no, we were in the same room and people were in our lines. So like, we were just talking, and our marketing guys knew each other, and we just we chopped it up a little bit, and it was a good time though. He's a really cool guy.
Is there a cooler? I mean, Mike Tyson. That's really cool for me. But
Yeah,
like,
no, he's
I was
he's
alive
sick.
when he was fighting. Is there anybody cooler that you ever met since you've been a national championship, the only national championship for Florida since 2017?
Anyone cooler?
Anybody cooler? I mean, Mike Tyson. That's a sick picture that you
That's
have.
a
Your
sick
jacket
meet.
in that
Yeah, I don't
picture.
know. I
legit.
mean, I think Mike Tyson beats all the baseball guys I've met, football guys I've met. I think it's Mike Tyson for sure.
Okay.
Well, now that you're Captain America, as Scott calls you, because you're the captain of America's team, who knows who it could be?
Right.
Think about all the cool people you're going to get to meet now. As Captain America,
We'll see. We shall see. You know, we gotta keep winning and get to the playoffs and make a run for ourselves, and we'll see.
Do you like that though, America's team? Do you like being America's team and Captain
love
America?
I just think it started off. We're all messing around. I mean, but we're actually serious when we call ourselves that, just because of the brand we play. We're a hard-nosed, grinding team. We run the bases well. Small ball, we play the game the right way. We love to win and compete. So we're not just all about the long ball, and we play defense and make plays.
I'll tell you this too, coming from someone who doesn't, have like, I'm not like rooting for one particular team. So I'm looking and going, okay, your squad, it's no secret, was not supposed to be in this spot.
Exactly.
I'm sure you guys know that. So for fans of other teams, let's say your team sucks, or, you want someone else to root for, right? You watch the late games, you want to watch an early team and really like have a squad that you can get behind the way you guys play, the expectations before the season, which were low, the rookies that are coming up and thriving right away, which is pretty rare. You usually see like maybe one rookie comes up on a team and he's great right away. The amount of guys that have been contributing like this. Does that all add up to America's team as well, where you got, no matter what, like even right now, even if you're in first place for a while now in the season, like you're still going to have a chip, I would imagine, because this is not how this season was supposed to look at all.
Yeah, I just think, we've started that mentality in spring training. It all started there. I mean, you can ask a lot of the guys on our team. We built that into everyone. It's just like everyone in that clubhouse in spring training, they're also on the AAA team now. They all know the mentality we have and what we want to accomplish this year. So it was all started there, and we just ran with it. I just knew from the beginning that this team was going to be special with all the guys that we have. And we still have more guys coming. So it's a special team, and it's going to be special for a while because we're all young.
You guys have a lot of young guys, and you said they're all in AAA. A lot of dudes that are in big league camp are in AAA. Do you follow those guys? Do you follow, you haven't been down there. Do you follow them and like see what they're doing every once in a while, see it on the scoreboard, anything like that?
Sometimes, yeah, I'll see like a tweet from the Reds or someone. I see, that some guys are raking, or the teams are doing well, and some pitchers are, throwing scoreless innings. So yeah, I follow here and there, but they're doing a thing down there, and they have to go through it and compete and get to this level and then join us.
Question from a fan in the chat that we've got going here. Taylor says, who actually came up with America's team? That's still pretty unclear. It was a fan, right? Weren't fans yelling it out in the stands?
No, it was be honest, it was Will Myers. I thought it was Luke Maley, but it was Will Myers 3 weeks ago. He was like, guys, I mean, he was in the dugout and he was just like, guys, this is America's team. Like, you guys play so hard, because he was hurt, I think, at the time. And Luke Maley just started running with it, and it was hilarious. He just started saying it nonstop. And then Luke was like, "Yeah, you gotta say it on air, man. You gotta say it on air." And I was like, "Oh my god, all right, fine." And I said it like 15 times in one interview, and it just blew up. And
that was the one with McLean, right? Was it the one with Matt McLean? Yep. Because McLean's going, and this is Captain America.
Yeah, and then that blew up. I was like, "Why would you say that?"
That's perfect. I love that. I love it.
It was fun. It was good. It was a good mix. We enjoyed it.
You guys should. Your infectiousness, like, I would encourage you, like, don't let that infectious, like, team bond that you guys have, don't let anybody in the media squash that. Like, you guys be you, and if it, like, boils over, that's why I wrote down that quote, play with too much emotion, even if you guys offend people. So what? Like, it's your team. Like, too many times in baseball, like, baseball wants to, like, put you guys in a box and be like, well, you guys are good. Now you guys have to act like
right.
You're the best team. Screw that, man. Like, you guys be you.
No doubt about it. I completely agree with that. That's something a lot of guys preach in the clubhouse every day. Joey actually said on the bus the other day to us, he was like, even though we're winning, he goes, I don't care about what we do, how we get ready for games. Everyone just be yourself. Play with passion. He kept saying that. Just keep playing with passion. Don't be afraid of these people. There's gonna be a lot of media. Don't be afraid. Don't hide. Be yourselves. Out in the open and keep going. Like, so I agree with that 100%. We're just continue to be ourselves no matter what.
That's great advice from Joey Votto, because fuck those haters. We just had a whole conversation about this, trolls on social media.
Yeah, man.
Be yourselves. Go have a great time. And you know what? If you guys are winning, people will love it. And if you then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, we're scared, we're going to shut down.
Right.
Screw them. And the other thing is, if the other team don't like it, ask Kratz and his Royals teams when they won the World Series. We'll fight you, and then we'll see what happens. And you know what? The next day we're going to do it again. So if you don't like it, stop us. Right. So
no doubt about it.
So screw all that. But now let's talk about something else. Your dad's from Long Island. I was born in Long Island.
Oh,
a Mets fan?
Yeah.
Mets. Okay. All right. Do you watch the Mets and say, man, I'm glad I'm not a Met and I'm on the Reds?
I don't really watch the Mets now. I mean, I'm not after my games, I'm tired of baseball. So, I want to go home and sleep, but no, but my dad watches the Met games and then tapes the Reds games. So he doesn't even watch our Reds games live. He fast forwarded through the whole game.
Wow. That's fatherly love right there.
He's a
I don't know what you did, but man, Pete Alonso went deep. He's a good gator.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tune it for your at-bats later.
Yeah, he just records my at-bats and sends them to me. He goes, it's so funny. He watches the Met games, and then like at 11 o'clock at night, he's watching our game. I'm like, dude, the game's over, man. Like, and I'm like, hey, what'd you think about my at-bat? He goes, I didn't see it yet.
Does he ever like go, hey, did you ever think of hitting like Jeff McNeil or like something? Like, does he bring up like a Met that you're like,
no,
he doesn't do that?
He doesn't bring up Mets guys. No, he's kind of pissed off with them, how they're doing, but he's a diehard Met guy, so you know how those fans are when they aren't winning.
Yeah.
You need to text him, hey, Dad, you should just turn it off and follow America's team now.
Yeah,
this is exactly what America's team is made for.
Yep.
You're a Mets fan right now, and you look at the standings, you're like, fuck.
He gone.
I need something else to root for.
No doubt. I gotta let him know to stop watching the Mets.
Yeah. Jonathan, I would be heartbroken if I let you go, since you did play at Florida, won a national championship there. Were you recruited by the smartest guy in the history of baseball, Brad Weitzel?
Oh, man. Hey, you know Brad Weitzel? Is he the best human in the world?
I mean, he's the guy
Yeah.
who signed me, so I mean, he's
Oh
the
my
smartest
God,
guy in the history of baseball.
Hey, I'm glad you asked that question. Not many people know Brad Weitzel, but he is the reason why I am the player I am today, just because of how hard I worked. You know, he made me work so hard in college that there was days where I would go home to my dorm and be like, I don't even know if I can finish, tomorrow. I couldn't even wake up because I was so tired. Um, but he taught me discipline. He taught me work ethic. He taught me how to be a professional, how to be a big leaguer, at the college level. And I mean, I still stay in touch with him. And, I can't thank him enough. Every day I'd say it. I tell a lot of guys, like, I used to take 200 to 300 ground balls a day in college. Just because of him. He would just stand and watch me right on me, just watch me the whole time, not move. He would just stand there. And I was not allowed to leave until I finished my 200 ground ball. This was after practice. So, it seems like a lot, but at the time I needed, that mental grind and physical grind to get through some stuff. And it was special. He's a special person for sure.
So did you like it at the time? Did you like all that work at the
Oh
time?
no, I hated it. I was
you hated
miserable.
it.
I was miserable. I was just like, why the hell is this guy making me do this stuff? Like, I'm too good for this. Especially coming out of high school. I was supposed to go first, second round, and he humbled me a lot, and I needed that at the time because out of high school I thought I was the best thing coming out of high school. So it taught me a lot how to play this game the right way, and I'm the player I am today because of him.
All right, now seriously, because we keep saying last thing. You're a freshman. You go to Florida. You were the hot stuff coming out of high school. Old Poopy Pants Alonso was playing with you.
Yeah,
he
what
was.
you're talking about.
Do you know about the poop home run that he hit against you guys?
Yeah, he did. He hit it against us. Yeah, he hit it.
Yeah, the hanging slider from Hunter.
Yeah, he hit it hard. He hit it far too.
He hits everything far.
I know.
Talk about that. And did you see a different Waddle as he was going around second base in that play?
No, I honestly don't even watch people run around the base when they hit a homer. I kind of just turn around. And I don't want to see what they do. So, but no, that's funny that he had to go to the bathroom that bad and swung at the first pitch. Good for him, though.
It was delivered so perfectly, like mistimed my pregame coffee.
That's just so Pete, though. Pete is just like that person to say that too.
Was he the biggest? Was he this big of a goofball at Florida as he is?
Oh man, he was just a goober, man. I was a freshman, he was a junior, and I felt like I was older than him sometimes. But he did work. He's one of the hardest working players I've seen as well. He's kind of got the numb mind where nothing bothers him. He just does it.
He's so good for the game. When did you find out about the poop homer? Did teammates tell you? Did you see something on social?
Chris Rose actually told me. I did an interview with Chris, and he was like, "Yeah, did you know that?" I was like, "Well, I mean, I've definitely had that feeling in games where I had to go take a shit, but I've never say it on air like he did. He just came out and said it, but that was funny."
The best part to me was for the people that like to analyze every single slice of the game, just like the people that have to point out every sentence in a book and be like, this is why. He hit this homer because he was sitting first pitch slider and blah, blah, blah. I just had to shit.
Yeah, I just had to shit. Yeah. That's Pete, though. That's so Pete.
That's amazing. Well, Jonathan, dude, awesome hanging with you. Appreciate the time, dude. This was great. Keep doing your thing.
No doubt. Thanks, you guys. Man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, of course. We'll see you in Cincinnati, all right?
No doubt about it.
Or Seattle.
Oh, true,
or Seattle.
True.
Maybe.
Hell
we'll
yeah.
See.
We'll work on that. Cheers, dude. Appreciate you. Jonathan India from the Cincinnati Reds, a.k.a. America's team. Awesome. That was good stuff. We have a lot to do and in 3 minutes time for slap hands. So let's hit it.
Strike.
Ball. Nope. I'm the umpire here.
Nope.
So this is week number 2 of Foul Territory, taking over the Bet MGM Sportsbook app. So let's check out today's Foul Territory parlay of the day. How did we do last week?
Delicious.
Delicious.
Winners at a plus 150.
We were fantastic.
Glaber appreciation.
Yes.
Garrett Cole.
Yes.
Strikeouts.
Yes.
And the Yankees win.
So today we're going with a same game parlay. We need Bryce Harper and Nico Horner to each contribute 1 total base or more. Okay. That's a knock. Just a single will do. Ranger Suarez to pick up 4 strikeouts or more. Jamison Tyone to pick up 3 strikeouts or more.
That's the one I'm nervous about.
Which one?
Tyone. We bought it down to 3 strikeouts.
You're more nervous about that than Ranger?
Yes. Both teams strike out a lot. Ranger's going to get his 4. He's been like 9, 7, 8, 6 strikeouts. So I think he's going to – and the Cubs struggle a little bit against the lefty changeup. So need both of them to pick it up. Although Tyone with his – I'm just worried about Tyone's strikeouts getting there. But, hey, I love it. At plus 220, I love winning.
Yes, please. Let's see if we go 2 for 2. Check that out. Okay, and I listened on my 12-hour car ride overnight to Fair Territory, and I picked out a little soundbite that I enjoyed. So let's run that.
This week on Fox, I've got Guardians and Cubs at Wrigley Field. Looking forward to it, as I always do when I go to Chicago and get to be at Wrigley. It's the greatest thing going. The only problem this week, probably won't get on the air much, the color analyst for this game is AJ Pierzynski. And if you've seen Foul Territory, and if you've seen AJ banter with me and agitate me and make fun of my height, you'll know that he's going to do everything possible either to A, keep me off the air or embarrass me on the air. I look forward to the challenge, AJ. I'll see you in Chicago.
Whoa! Challenge accepted, Ken. Guess what, big boy? You're not going to make sure our producer, Aaron Stoikov, does not let you get into the game except for at the beginning when you talk about your bow tie. After you show your bow tie, you might as well just go back to the hotel and hang out because you are fired.
We need to cut that because AJ just called him big boy. AJ just called Ken. So that means Ken. It feels like a rap. What's a rap off? Where they're like
battle?
A battle. It feels like a battle right now, and he absolutely took all of AJ's lyrics, anything he was going to say, and so AJ's like, "All right, big boy." Dang it! Shoot.
What is this,
Psyched
8 Mile?
out.
This isn't
Psyched
8 Mile.
out.
This is
Yeah.
real life.
It's real life.
This is real. We're on the field.
Yeah, which is real.
Okay.
I can't believe that Ken's slumming it all the way down to my crew.
Maybe you have done so well. You're moving up in the world.
Did you get promoted?
No, because it's the same crew for me. It's Adam Amin and it's
Somebody's sick.
Yeah, Smoltz is off this week. Joe Davis has to, do some big important series with the Dodgers.
Massage his throat.
You know what I'm gonna call AJ's broadcast team? Not like the B team or whatever.
The regional.
America's broadcast team.
The regional.
The regional
The
team.
regional team.
Ken's team is national. He's regional.
I'm on an RSN. I'm on the RSN.
He's regional gold. Regional gold Fox.
No, it's America's broadcast team because you turn on, what is it, Guardians, Tigers? And you're like, yeah, I'm rooting for this broadcast team. They got to entertain me.
Yeah.
I do. I've had a lot of Guardians games. So let's take it easy on the
Yes.
Guardians.
Hey,
Yes.
they're going to be in first place by the time you get there.
They
Your
could
words.
be. Hey, you're joking about that.
Your
The
words,
Twins-
not mine.
Hey, who are the Twins playing? The Braves.
The Braves.
Who are the Guardians playing? Kratz's Royals. Two more days, they might be in first place.
I've got so many teams. AJ points out all of my teams. I got so many teams. I might be America's what? Teammate?
You're America's FT Live host. What do you got on your head?
Oh. For Irish, not America, Irish Day, for St. Patty's Day,
That's nice.
the Brewers. I love all the St. Patty's Day hats, especially now that they don't have snapback hats. When AJ played, the St. Patty's Day hats had snapbacks. But I love it. I love just the little stuff. The MLB logo's got a little shamrock in there. Just a real sweet little shamrock on the top there. It's so sick. Yeah,
Mhm.
these are awesome. Oh, it's a Brewers St. Patty's Day hat, obviously. But
Yes.
which is, by the way, one of the sneakiest logos. For everybody who doesn't know, what does that stand for?
No idea.
You see the M and the B?
MB. Come on.
Oh, right. Yes.
Some
I've
people
been
don't
told
know that.
before.
Some people just thought it's just a glove. But the M and the B, Milwaukee Brewers. Anyway, AJ's like, I knew that back when I was like 16, bro.
When I was like 4.
I was 4. You're 4.
I was probably told that 20 times, but I have no brain right now. 2 more things.
Coffee.
Steve Cohen
Drugs are
tweeted,
good.
I will be doing a press conference tomorrow before the game. You will get it from me straight.
Yes.
Dum. Love this.
Wait a minute. That was like 30 minutes ago. It's already got 1 million views.
Oh,
Yeah, duh.
Wow.
I mean, he's America's owner. Dude is
I
open,
thought that was
honest
Castellini.
tweets. True. Technically, he is America's owner right now. And lastly, Alek Manoah is still working on things. This is from Hannah Kaiser. Nope, never mind. Something else. But Alek Manoah, who is still working on things right now in the minors, had a rough outing. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up if I can find it myself.
this happens. Doesn't mean he's not a good player. Maybe
Well,
he's
doesn't that
working
mean he's
on
just
stuff.
right? I was going to say, spring training first start kind of thing, where it's like
but
I don't give a
I
shit.
hate when guys are like, "Oh, I'm just working on stuff." Like, you still compete. So hopefully he's down there. You know, he seems like a competitor that's always out there. But when you're in AAA working on stuff and you get waffled, there's a bunch of dudes in the other dugout that are like, "Yeah, let's bring him out here. He's working on stuff again. We'll keep whacking that hanging slider."
First start in the Florida Coast League golf.
Oh wow, I didn't know he's in the FCL.
Yeah, FCL.
The developmental
2
league.
2/3, 10 hits, 11 runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks, 2 homers.
Mhm.
So
They're down there swinging.
my big thing with that is, like, I know you still got things to figure out. Clearly, it's not like, okay, now let's bring them back. It's going to take time, and that's been the number one thing that has crushed the Blue Jays. To go from a guy who, sure, maybe he wasn't going to replicate, a low 2 ERA or whatever it was last year, but to go from that to really costing them games and now not even being a part of the ball club, that one starter makes a huge difference for them, especially in a division where a lot of things have to go right for you to be that good.
The only thing I'll say about that is you're facing 17, 18-year-old kids.
Mhm.
I've seen many a big league all-star go down in spring training and pitch against those low A ball teams and those developmental teams and get absolutely fucking whacked.
Yes.
So don't listen. I've seen it. I've seen some of the best dudes you could ever think of go down there, not get out of an inning. So
Roll it.
Yeah, because at that age, you got nothing to lose, right?
And you are playing like you have nothing to lose, and they swing it every day.
There's no setting a dude up for an at bat. It's a strike whack.
Yep.
Don't think, swing.
Don't think. Don't wear those glasses again.
Hitting glasses. Those are hitting glasses. Not
Those are
shooting
blue
Blue
glasses.
blockers. The sun.
Those are blue blockers.
I wear those to go to sleep with. So I'm looking at a screen like this, and it helps you go to sleep.
Is that true?
Yeah.
The sunlight thing?
Yeah.
Anyway, Josh Hader is joining us tomorrow, one of America's closers. Jose Trevino from the New York Yankees, Ken Rosenthal with us on Wednesday's FT Live. Let's have a day. Jonathan India was awesome there to finish things off. We will see you on Wednesday. Get some sleep, everyone, as in me.